Okay. Hi everyone. Hi. Can you hear me? Thank you, Ma. Hi everyone. If you can hear me, you can just send me. Just say hi or say something in the comments. Hi. Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Great. Sorry, we're behind time, so we're 4 minutes behind 12 o'clock that we earlier scheduled. Can we just give it about, let's say, 1 more minute for more people to join? 1 more minute. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. You can as well share this live to people you feel might need it. We are not running a secret society, so as many people that need it can join in. Please do well to share with them, and we'll get started. Right. Hi everyone, my name is Nosa. I am Wi-Fi. We are here because we put up a flyer about PCOS, right? And our theme or our topic today is empowering the youths on how to live with PCOS, right? So PCOS is a topic that is not regularly spoken about. It's I don't know. It's something that has not been trending, except now it has been trending a lot. So we just want to raise awareness. We want to talk more about it. We want to talk about PCOS. What does PCOS actually mean? What does it entail? What are the different things that people with PCOS go through? So if you have a sister, if you have a friend, anybody that you can share this live with right now, it will be very important, and you don't want them to miss. Right. Okay, so we already have our guests. Can you see me? Can everyone see me? Please, if you can see me, just say hi. Say yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can see you. Can we check that, please? Can anyone see me? Can anyone hear me? Great. Thank you so much. All right, so please give me thank you. I can see you all too. Thank you. So one thing I really want to share as well is that after we put up the ad for this flyer, we put this flyer up talking about PCOS. A lot of people started responding. I noticed that we started seeing more people who were living their lives with PCOS, and I love to see that a lot of people are more aware about PCOS now. I mean, couple of years down, if you had asked some people who are experiencing some symptoms of PCOS, they wouldn't even know what was going on in their body. All they knew was that something was changing and something was happening, right? But then we have Mrs Adebimpe Daniel, who's a UK registered nurse. She's going to be on our live today. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she's a child of God, and she's passionate about seeing, God's will established in people's lives, and especially women. She has had an experience with PCOS, and like I mentioned earlier, she's a mother, right? So she's going to be sharing her experiences with us, and she's going to be empowering us with some of the things that she learned on her own journey, dealing with PCOS. So I'm going to add her right now. All right. I'm adding her right now. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon, Ma. I think we're using the same time zone, right?
Is that what?
We're using the same time zone.
No.
We're in the same
afternoon. We are 1 hour behind.
Oh, you're 1 hour behind.
Yes.
That's right. We don't worry, wait for people to catch up with us, as they're ahead. Right. Thank you, Ma, for joining. Thank you for giving this opportunity to actually share your story, and you have gone through that journey, and you'll be sharing your experience, and we're saying thank you for coming on here to say what I think is a story, or is an experience every youth should know about, or every woman, as it were, because PCOS is a women thing, right? Men need to have the knowledge of it, but it's a women thing, right? So please introduce yourself more, go deeper than I have gone.
Thank you, Nusa. Thank you. You have said the Adebimpe Daniel, and I want to establish something, because while I go on to talk, some can be wondering, because I'll be talking about my ignorance, and some will be wondering, if she's a nurse, why is it that she didn't have an idea of all of these things? So I just want to say, I just qualified as a nurse two weeks ago. So
Okay.
yeah. So when I'm saying some things to you, you will just know that it's basically my experience and everything that I had to go through. It has nothing to do with my medical practice. Even though now I understand a lot more, because these have given me an insight to everything that went wrong, and I can get more information on what PCOS is and what happened along the line. So when I begin to talk about my ignorance, my lack of knowledge, my confusion, you don't keep wondering and saying, if she's a nurse, how come she didn't know? So I just want to establish that. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Ma. So it's interesting to note that you're able to say that, but I really want to defer and say I think I've had some conversations with people who are nurses, or in the medical line, and sometimes they don't realize that something is happening in their body, and they can't put a term to these
Yeah.
things that are happening in their body. So sometimes nurses don't even know. Sometimes you meet a nurse and say, oh, I have PCOS, and then you are and then they'll be like, what's PCOS? Everybody has gone through skipping menstrual cycle, or anybody has gone through these hormonal things or whatever, so they're
Yeah.
like, what's PCOS, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why this little bit of talks and chats here and here is able to give more expression to the term, and we're able to better understand our bodies, right? So I'm just going to ask you for a favor, if you can straighten your camera so that we can have a full view.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Is this okay?
Yes,
Okay.
that's perfect.
All right.
Yes. Thank you so much. So want to know at what point in your journey, at what point in your life did you realize that you have PCOS, or were you diagnosed with PCOS?
Okay. I think at the point that I realized that I had PCOS was after marriage. Before, I didn't have an idea of what it was, and I didn't really have. I did. It was after marriage actually I realized that I had PCOS.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if we might ask, at what age did you get married?
I got married at 27.
Oh,
I was
27. So
27. Yeah.
what you were experiencing symptoms, you were experiencing things you could not explain before you were diagnosed with
No,
PCOS.
I didn't have, by the time we start talking about the symptoms of PCOS, I only had that symptoms once in my life, like from teenage years, that I begin to have my menstrual cycle. I didn't have any symptoms of that until after marriage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting to note. So one of the things, or one of the effects of PCOS is that it causes delayed fertility or infertility, as it
Yes.
were. So what made you take that step towards becoming diagnosed with PCOS, or how did you decide to become diagnosed with PCOS?
Okay. For me as a person, it wasn't like after I got married, what actually happened was I just had a menstrual cycle, I think it was around October, and the menstrual cycle lasted for like 4 weeks. Normally 5 days, 6 days is over. And I
Yes.
kept on bleeding for like 4 days, and it didn't stop. So that was the first thing that took me to a gynecology. So it was just about that, like, what exactly is wrong? Why am I menstruating and it's not stopping?
Mm.
So they gave me medication for that to stop. So while they were on that, they just asked me and say, "How long have you been married?" And I think at that time I've been married for about 10 months or about 11 months. So they asked me, "Are you not trying to get pregnant?" I said, "Yeah, but not really." I didn't have a definite answer. I wasn't. It was. I didn't think there was a problem as at that point, as at that time. So, but what I was really concerned about is that why should I be menstruating and the menstruation is not stopping? I'm sorry, I have sore throat, and that's why my voice is like this.
Right.
So if at any point you can't hear me, just let me know.
Mm.
So for me, that was when that was the only.
Thank you so much for joining back, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I have taken you back and out so many times. I think this will be our last going back and off. So yes, you were telling us about your visit to the gynecologist and
Yeah,
how you were now diagnosed. Right. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah, I can hear you. So, like, so after that, I went to the gynae again I think like few months after that, because what happened then happened again. I had I had my menstrual cycle, and it didn't stop for days again. So I needed to revisit the gynae. So it by that time I was already, I think, a year married. So rather than them treating me for that, they did and say, "Okay, take this medication." I don't even know which medication it was. It will stop, but the gynae insisted and said, "No, this is 1 year that you have been married. I think we need to begin to question why you are not pregnant." So they begin to ask me some questions, and every symptom of PCOS I was not showing as at that time.
Mm.
Yeah. So they will ask, what exactly is going on with you? What is this? What is that? There was nothing. There was nothing. And it's normal because, like, for example, in the UK, for every 10 women that you have, research have shown that one of them will have PCOS. And 50% of the people that have PCOS, they don't even show the symptoms. And some will not even show the symptoms until they are in their 30s. So, and at that time, they will ask me, I
Mm.
don't even know why they were asking me the question. They will be like, "Do you have this? Is there any time you miss your menstrual cycle? Do you notice that you are growing hair in some awkward areas?" I will say no. Have you added weight increasingly in an abnormal way that you are not used to? What was your weight before? What is your weight now? And of all the question, I was thinking no, no, no. You get what I'm saying? So they just left me, but they begin to question why I wasn't getting pregnant. And the only thing they could come out with each time they run the test, they would be like, "Unexplained infertility, unexplained infertility, unexplained infertility." And that was what they were coming up with. And as years begin to run back, I can't really pin it down now, but I know that couple of years after, maybe like 2 years or 3 years into my marriage, the first thing that happened to me was I woke up one morning, and this is the way my face is always like, and I started breaking out. I mean, serious acne, serious one. Like, they were big, like ball. Like, people will see me and be like, and I will sleep in the night.
Mm.
I will wake up in the morning, and this has tripled all over my face. It was everywhere. Like, nobody, I couldn't, anywhere I get to, I didn't believe I could heal and my face could become like this. It
Wow.
was out bad everywhere. it was, and I had to go to the hospital. I think at that point I had the number of my gynae, and I called my gynae. There was no video call or WhatsApp call or anything. By the way, in April, I'll be 15 years married. So you should know that I'm talking about 2009, 2010, 2011. So there was nothing like, there was no video call or anything. So I couldn't show up. I was just explaining. And eventually I had to travel down to Ibadan because my gynae was in UCH.
Okay.
And when I got to Ibadan, my sister saw me and she couldn't believe it. Is this my face? Like, there is no way. And so I think, like I said, that my visit because of the acne. And what exactly they told me when the hormonal result came out was that you have what is called hormonal imbalance. You understand? They just said that's the best the doctor could explain to me. And that's another thing about diagnosis in Nigeria. Nobody was really, really speaking to me and saying this is what it is. And so sometimes, like for PCOS, the diagnosis can really, really be dicey because I don't know for every single person, you might not be showing all the symptoms at once. You get what I mean? So all they know that is the hormonal. So I kept on asking questions, and I'm like that. I'm like, what is making my hormone imbalance? Like, what exactly am I not doing? They said, don't worry, they will place you on some medication. And so in retrospect, like when I begin to reflect on everything that happened and I begin to look at the medication they started putting me on, I knew that what they were treating me for was PCOS. But my gynae didn't tell me you have PCOS. So
was it do you know if it was an intentional act or it was just something?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was an intentional act. Another thing I'm thinking about is that maybe because I was not showing every other symptoms, like they will ask you, did you notice that maybe your voice has changed? I'll say, how do I know if my voice has changed? Maybe I will ask friends. They'll say, maybe your voice is getting more baritone. I said, no. So maybe because I wasn't showing every other thing. But the drugs that they started putting me on to keep my hormone was actually what is meant to treat PCOS. So that was how that happened. But at the point, I think at that point, they actually know what to do and what to start working on. But nobody told me I had PCOS, even at that point.
So can I ask you a question? A question based on what you said, and you said that you knew, like when you noticed the medication they were giving you, you realized that they were treating you for PCOS. So was that you went and got information for yourself? How did you know that the medications were for PCOS?
No, okay, so that's why I'm saying that. Okay, at that point, there was a point I now knew I had PCOS. Okay, so after I was with that gynae, and after placing me on those medications for a while, they noticed that the medication was not working for me. And they came to a conclusion that the only solution for me is IVF. They told me. They said, we think you should go ahead and go for IVF. So I moved from that gynae as I was leaving that day because they had a meeting with me. I took all my, like, I don't want to mention the hospital. It's a big hospital. It's a government hospital. So because they gave my file to me and say, take your file and take it back to the admin, if you know how government hospital work. As I was leaving that day, I opened the file. I took off all my scan results, my hormone results, everything from that file. I left maybe the first registration form in it because I know I was not going to come back here. I think one of the reasons is the way they communicated the IVF to me. I think they were harsh. I think I didn't see any form of empathy. That was the way I perceived it then. So I told myself, I said, I'm not using this hospital again. I'm going to go ahead and look for another gynae. So I removed all my everything I had because I wanted something. So I moved to another gynae, which came highly recommended, that is very good and everything. So when I got to the gynae, he took all my file and asked me to run a scan. And after taking all those documents I came with, I think he asked me to run a scan. And when the scan came and he sat, and the only thing he could say, yes, I knew it. I knew it was PCOS. I knew it was PCOS. You know, that kind of a thing. I knew. So I said, hold on. They've been telling me hormonal imbalance. They've been telling me this. They've been telling me that. He said, no, it's PCOS. So he said, come. So he showed me, the scan showing my ovary. And he said, come and see the follicles. Come and see the follicles. So he was saying, these are all the follicles around you. This is PCOS. So he said, but what did they recommend? They said I should go for IVF. He said, no, don't go for IVF. Don't go for IVF. We are going to start some medication. And I'm very meticulous. I have document all the medication, how I was given. So I begin to tell him, this is what I've taken. This is the medication I've taken. This is it. So he just said, because there are several medications to treat PCOS. PCOS. So I think what he did, he just knocked out things they have used for me before and went to start trying other drugs. But he told me that I don't think you should go for IVF now. Let's try this and this. So it was at that point I knew I had PCOS, and I began to read. I started going online. I followed a lot of people home and abroad that were doing with PCOS. I started reading about it. And each time I come along medication, so I saw the medication they were using for me, they were giving me when I was in Ibadan with my first gynae. So I knew that, okay, somehow they have an idea that it was more. They didn't say it to me. And that's another thing I think I want to say to you, that at every point in time, if you are watching at this moment and you have anything to do with your health, with fertility, with people, it might not be because you are trying to get pregnant, but let them explain what is going wrong. Let them explain what the diagnosis is. Let them explain, because eventually, I think all they were doing around was to do the medical parts. Every other thing I did on my part to help my journey was things I got by my research. So if you have a correct diagnosis, I think, and you know what it is, it will empower you to go ahead. Thank you. You have a platform like this that you can hear. I didn't have anybody, an average person you talk to then and say you have this way, don't even have an idea. They say, what is that? And that's what it was. So yeah.
Right. So you shared like some important gems. You've spoken about your journey, and number one thing I could gather was gathering information for yourself.
Yes.
Because if you are dealing with, ignorance is the one thing that enables failure, or doesn't allow you a successful journey. So
Yeah.
if you don't have information and you don't understand what is going on, because it is your right, it is not the doctor's body. The doctor is
Yes.
only examining your body. So if you are able to have that knowledge, you are one step ahead into
Yes.
that job as well. And one thing that you also said was, one of the things that changed was medication. So
Yes.
I'm going to hinge my next question on that, because I know probably you were not taking as much medication before you were
Yeah.
diagnosed with the whole hormonal impact
Yes.
and all that. So apart from medication, which is a tip in managing PCOS, they put people on
Yes.
medication. What other lifestyle change did you have to go through, to manage PCOS?
Yeah, because there's no way, if you are here and you have been diagnosed for PCOS, or you've not even been diagnosed, you've read and you are seeing the symptoms. I must say to you that you don't have a choice. You need to do some lifestyle changes. You just have to change your lifestyle. And one of the things I came across is, because one of the things PCOS does, the symptoms again, is weight gain. You are likely to gain weight. And at the point I was like, I went to like I was ranging between 79 and 80 kg. I used to be 69, 70 kg. And I was I was like that. I had it like up to like 10 kg. So the weight gain was there. As I was gaining the weight, I was thinking, because you got married, people would think, it's as a result of marriage. I know that. So I had the weight gain, and as I was doing the research, I found out that you need to do exercise. You need to adjust your eating, because what PCOS does, sometimes when you read books or you go on, some people call it insulin resistance. So let me explain. Your body, that when our body produces insulin, is to control the amount of sugar in our system. So when women have PCOS, your body doesn't sense that insulin is produced in you. Let me just put it in that layman term. So what your body does is that it pushes it to be producing more and more insulin, because your body is not sensing. So the more of the insulin that your body is producing to control the body sugar, begin to raise other hormones in your body, and most times the male hormone begins to rise. So you are likely, one of the things that happens to people apart from PCOS and apart from fertility, that you really need to work on it, is that you are likely to be diabetic. So if you look at the lifestyle changes for PCOS and the life changes for people with diabetes, they are really, really together, because it's the same thing. It's the insulin that is raised in your body that somehow they are trying to control. Your body doesn't sense that you are producing insulin. So what that means is that you will be having a lot of sugar stored in your body, and you are likely to be diabetic. In all of the years, I didn't get to that level. But I don't know, maybe if I didn't come across everything that I did. So I went on after reading, and I was seeing lifestyle changes and doing everything. I don't know, but miraculously, I found a weight coach online on Facebook, and I registered with a weight coach. So while talking to the weight coach, I said, because he will ask you, are you trying to lose weight because sometimes people don't feel good about themselves, they just want this for their self-esteem. So I said, well, it's part of it, but apart from that, for fertility reason. And he placed me on a 30 days diet. And with the diet, I went on another 30 days, because the diet will come with weight loss. It was quite cheap looking back now. And from everything I benefited, I think it was about 10,000 naira. And I went on it. But what I did was that because I was accountable, he checks on you every time, every now and then, like that. And I will send this, I will say I missed my exercise. And I think when he sent the diet, I said, no, I'm not doing this, because portion, you need to control your portion. You need to go on food that are high in fiber. You need to go more on vegetables. And apart from that, the one that is challenging is that you need to exercise. So should I tell you, I think I did that for like 3 months, and in like that 3 months, I lost, because I don't have the figures, but I'm sure I lost more than 6 or 7 kg. But by the time I went into that for months, it has already become my lifestyle, and eventually I lost 15 kg.
Wow.
So I came down from 80 kg to 65 kg. And even though I didn't get pregnant, I benefited from that. Health-wise, I was better. All the moodiness, I felt better in myself. I was a lot better, because a lot happen when your hormone are not balanced. And so the exercise really, really helped me. I think it's already part of me. This is the first time in like 2 years now that I've not done any exercise apart from walking. I can't wait to be back in the gym. It's my lifestyle. Apart from that, because PCOS is something you might need to live with for the rest of your life. I've gotten pregnant, I've had my children, but the symptoms are still there, and my lifestyle changed as it. So you need to work on it. Another thing I want to establish before we go ahead, like before we go to another question, apart from the lifestyle change, should I say to you that when my diagnosis came, one of the things I was worried about is that, where is this coming from? Well, you understand? You are just asking yourself, why now? Why now I need to have my children? Why now that I need to get pregnant? Why now that I need to do this thing? So all of that confusion. And I think ignorance is really, and I'm grateful for everyone that are here today. One of the things that's medically profound about PCOS is that medically they don't even know the cause. Honestly, nobody can explain and say this is the cause for PCOS. But one profound thing is that it is genetic, it is hereditary. So if you are a woman, if your mom had a PCOS, you are likely to have it. So that's a profound truth, and you should know that as an individual. So it is not because you have done anything, it is not because you have done anything against God, it is not because the devil or whatever it is genetic, and it is your gene. You can't change it. And so that's it about PCOS. So I needed to do that lifestyle changes. I needed to do it, and you should be able to confront it for your well-being. I bet it with you. When you start, one of the things that is profound is that the exercise, you will feel a lot better. Your mood, your ovulation, everything, you would sense it in your body that something is actually getting better.
Okay. The question is, what is PCOS? I'm
Yeah.
just going to explain that because your sister might need it. I know Elisha is a man, so PCOS is polycystic ovary syndrome, and it's something that affects women and causes hormonal change in their body, gives them different symptoms, and that's what we're talking about today. But I also wanted to add to what you said about PCOS being hereditary. Sometimes, PCOS, like you said earlier, there's no reason, or there's no they can't say because you ate too much cake. They can't say because you were born white, you were born black. It just so happens that majority of people get PCOS. And then another thing is, sometimes your mom might not have had PCOS. Like, sometimes it might not have been in your family line, because I know
Yes.
we have spoken to a couple of people, and their mom had their children real early, and then it just so happened with them. So sometimes you have to do that evaluation check for yourself, and
No,
make those
no,
lifestyle.
no, sir. No, sir. You know, one thing I have found out is that because some of our parents had us really, really early. Imagine I started feeling the symptoms of my PCOS at 28, 29. Imagine that I started having kids at 20.
Mm,
Do you know that right now I feel all of the symptoms, but I'm not as worried as I used to be when I wanted to have children. Like, if I wake up, one of the symptoms is irregular menses, and I don't see my menses for 6 months. I don't even care. You get. So one thing for me, like my mom had me at 20.
wow.
Yeah, she had me at 20. And speaking to her now, I feel that she might have started seeing that symptoms in her early 30s. But it
Wow.
didn't matter. She
Because she
didn't have
already.
to go and see the gynae. She
Mm,
didn't have to start running after anybody, because as at then, she already had all the children.
mm,
So sometimes your mom might even have it. and they might not even know,
Right.
or maybe they didn't show the symptoms,
Mm.
especially if there are people that had their children early before the symptoms started saying. If one of the things they will be thinking that they reach early menopause. So there
Menopause.
won't be any reason for them to go for scan, to be checking follicle, doing follicle tracking, finding that they are not ovulating, doing all of that. They won't go through that stress. They won't.
Right.
And so they won't find out. So that's another angle to it. But your parents might not have it. Nobody, but 90% of everybody is genetic.
Mm.
Somewhere it's in the gene. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important thing, and sometimes that's why your mom will tell you, go and give birth early, go and give me grandchildren on time. That's just a joke by the side. But then important thing that you have said actually is that these symptoms, sometimes we don't even realize it because we are not looking for anything, so
Yeah.
it's just and I also think also young people, because I think most young people now are experiencing PCOS in their early ages.
Yes.
That
Yes.
you don't even know the reason why you don't even know the reason why you are having these things, and you don't even bother to check because you don't have any importance. Maybe in
Yeah.
your case, you were worried because this the acne just came all of a sudden, and also you were
Sudden.
married. So it's also children and all that. But some people will be like, maybe it's puberty, maybe it's this, maybe it's that,
Yes.
I don't check it
Yes.
on time. So any little change, something that we always say in Wi-Fi is that your body is always talking to you. Your body is always telling you one thing or the other. So any little change that you notice, anything that you notice is happening in your body, make sure you ask why. You try to know the root cause. That's one of the most important things, about dealing with any of these health challenges, right? So I want to ask you, in your journey in PCOS or in managing PCOS, what did you have any misconception? Okay, I think you answered that already, because when you were talking about the hormonal imbalance that they diagnosed you with, and then having to switch doctors, right?
Yeah.
That was a misconception, because even the hospital at first did not understand what exactly it was with you. Do you want to share more light on, the misconception and the how you were able to address it?
I think I what I would say, for me it was a misconception. I didn't even have understanding of what was going on. And I think one of the reason why I left that hospital is that I think they were not communicating with me enough. They were not explaining things to me. They were not saying this to me. But looking back again, I just felt that she just spoke the truth to me the way it was. This was the way she just said, your results are not looking back, but are not looking okay, Bimpe. But from this result, I don't think you can get pregnant naturally. You will
Mm,
have to do IVF. And I felt that was harsh. I felt that was, why will you look at me and say, I can't get pregnant naturally? So I left and I went on another journey for about 3 years, and I tried everything. And eventually it was IVF I did. So I
mm,
think I'm just using this opportunity to speak to some people and say, while we were looking at the treatment of for PCOS, I want to say to us that medication for PCOS does work. Honestly, it does work. If you change your lifestyle, if you change this, it works for some people. But there are people, like, I don't know whether it's available in Nigeria, but in the UK, there is a surgery that can be done if you have PCOS, if need be. So if you have done the medication, you have done the surgery, you have done everything. There are another set of women, and I must say that to you, that all of this medication doesn't work for. Their only option is IVF. And so, well, if you that doesn't mean you should not change your lifestyle. That doesn't mean you should not change. I mean, when I'm saying it won't work for you, is that eventually you might not still get pregnant naturally, that you might need to go through an IVF to get pregnant. But all of this medication doesn't mean that it does not. I've met women that the drug that maybe when I got to my second, I don't want to be mentioning medication because I don't want you to go, and because I understand the way Nigeria is, you can just get to a pharmacy and begin to buy drugs off shelf. I don't want you to go off shelf and start buying medication and start using on your own. You need to see the doctor. And
Right.
because, yeah, so that's why I'm not mentioning. But I want to say that I used to have a woman that we lived together in the same estate. And she told me, diagnosed with the same PCOS. And the day she was looking at me, she said, they placed you on this drug for how many months? That's the only thing I'm using now. You understand? And for her too, she was going everywhere, everywhere, until she met a doctor. And the doctor said, what is this? This is PCOS. I will treat it with just this medication. And she didn't have multiple. For me, I had triplets, but for her, she had her first child. She had the second. She was pregnant the first time. She was pregnant the second time just by taking those medication. So for some people, it does work for a lot of people. But I want to say to you, I'm here. There is no medication that is used for people with PCOS that was not tried out. There is no one. I know them all. Even the that are not present on shelf in Nigeria, I had to get them from the UK. And one of the things I've shared it before is that while I got that medication, because of the sensitivity of the medication, it was kept with my gynae. So if I go, my gynae will give me what I need to take for the period of time because they do it each cycle. When I'm when I'm on, when I'm menstruating, they will just start like that. And and I he kept it. And I went to see him and he said, do you know that this is your medication? There is a lady I have now that she's having PCOS, but I was trying to communicate with you. How did you get this drug? How did you get it? But when I could, because I didn't see you for a while, I had to give the woman part of your medication. And the woman got pregnant.
Wow, and you were already taking it before then?
And I was furious at God. Like, I first said, for taking my medication and giving another person without telling me, I'm angry. I was
Probably because I caught you up in the heat of that gist that you were giving us. And it's so important that we don't I think I was talking about something and I said we don't compare our journey to everybody else's journey, because imagine those people that were taking medication not even as religiously as you were, and they already like got pregnant and they were able to so do you want to finish up on that before we move to the next thing?
So the what I just want to say is that if you have it, seek medical help. So medical help does help. Like with just the medication, you can overcome, and changing your lifestyle, everything will be sorted. I think for some people, like we say, our journey is different. For some people, it's not even. I've seen people that just one cycle, they met a doctor and the doctor said, this is what it is, and they address it, and that was it. So as an individual, if you are having that challenge, you need to seek medical help. It's not enough that you are here and you are just listening. All of this is just going to be an awareness. So for me, lastly, misconception, no, I didn't have that. But what I didn't have is I didn't have knowledge, as I didn't have, and I really, really need to sit down. And I wish that my doctor can sit me down and say, this is what it is, this is what is it, this is what is it. Now, I've seen the two medical side, being abroad and home. I've seen that it's two different things. Nobody gives anybody medical. You will explain, you need to educate, you need to say, this is what it is, this is the way it is, this is what we are doing. You need everything. You are obliged to do that for your patient. But especially if you have met gynae before, they look to me like people that are not even empathetic at all. But it's not that. It's because of a lot that they are dealing with, a lot of women and everything. But there was no misconception, but the ignorance was a top notch. I didn't have any knowledge of everything that was going on with me. Now I can look back, and at every stage, they will just say, okay, we'll stop this medication and we'll try this. We'll stop this now, we'll try this. So to me, I was thinking they were doing trial and error. That was not what they were doing. They were still treating the PCOS. So they were like, there are levels. If this is not working, we try this. If this is not working, we try this. But nobody was explaining that to me. So there was a lot of confusion around this. So I'm saying to you that even when you see medical practitioner, there are levels to it. So if they treat you with this, it's not working. There are about 4 medication. They can treat you with another one. They will go to another level. They will go, and eventually it will work. But if you are feeling the symptoms, seek medical help. Seek medical
Right.
help.
Okay. So I have a question here. He said, how is PCOS diagnosed? Do you want to answer that? Because I have the answer from one of the things that you've said.
Yeah.
But maybe I should let you answer that.
PCOS, the basic diagnosis for PCOS is about its symptoms. So we have talked about the symptoms. The first one that is always a pointer to it is irregular
Menstruation.
menstruation, irregular. If it comes 2 months, another 3 months, we are not seeing it. This is irregular. So it's first of all a pointer to it. Another thing that used to come because of the raised male hormone in your system, you can begin to see things like thickened voice. So if people are telling you and say your voice is changing, sometimes you sound like a man. I didn't experience that, but there are people that do experience that. So it could be. Another thing is that hair begin to grow in awkward places in your body, like normal places that you don't have hair. For some tribe in Nigeria, this is normal. But I will tell you, I was saying that at a point I was not saying it. But you know that years into all of this, when I was going through, one day I just sat down. My friend said, Pinke, check under your cheeks. You have hair. It was somebody that called my attention to it. So I looked and I saw like, so I still have it. It grows, I pick it out. It grows, I pick it out. I have 3 here. I was not born with that. I was never always having it. So you can see hair begin to grow in awkward places in your body, like there was no hair. So I didn't used to have this. For some people, that's a normal thing, but it was not normal for me. And that was when, but at a point when they were asking me, so hair growth in some awkward, weight over gain. Like when I eventually went for my PCOS, when I got there, my gynae kept on telling me at the IVF hospital, he say, you this woman, you don't know what you are saying. You don't have PCOS. That was the way he was arguing with me. He said, you don't have PCOS. I've not done anything. But these results, because, okay, by the time I would do my IVF, I didn't have all of, you see, under my file, I used to carry. There was a time at a faith point, I burnt all those my file. I burnt everything. So I have all my medical diagnosis in my head. I didn't have it on paper. So when I got to the IVF hospital, I told them, and I told him, I said, this is my diagnosis. He said, no, you don't have PCOS. So later he told me, he said, with this, your weight. I think that time when I went for IVF, I was 69 kg because when I was 65, eventually my weight, I had it. You know, people, they won't know what you are going through. They just say, you are too skinny. You are too skinny. So we see me, they will say, we missed that your backside. We missed this one. Why this? Why that? Why that? So at the point I gained a little bit more weight. So by the time I went for my IVF, I was 69 kg. So he was looking at me and he was saying, you can't have PCOS and be this. And I said, I have prepared for my IVF. Because if I had come to you, there are people that at the point that they have PCOS, they want to go for IVF. They will still place them on a diet for like months to go and lose that weight and come back, because all of that can affect what your results will be like in IVF. So when I begin to say, good, then I think you are ready. So I lost all of that weight and like that. So that's it about the symptoms. So weight over gain, but one of the things is irregular. But when they begin to do some of the things for you, the one that is obvious is that if you do the scan and they check your ovary, you can obviously see the follicles around your ovary. If your doctor comes with that scan result and you ask, your doctor will show you. So those are the anything. But most times, even in the UK, they will say, once you show the 3 other symptoms, nobody bother to go and do the scan. Because if your menses is irregular, you are overweight, you have hair growing, your hormone is screwed up, they do the hormonal test. Most times, they don't even go to the scan, like according to what I read. And that's what is documented, because you can always read the documentation. They don't even bother. If you have thick 4/5, nobody will bother about checking the follicles and see like that. So you can see that. And if your menses is irregular, what is showing is that you are not ovulating. You are not ovulating. So those are the symptoms. And once you have it, you have PCOS.
All right. Thank you very much. And another thing that you said, I just want to highlight as we begin to close, is that we're not talking about things that you've grown up with. For
Yeah,
instance, the hair
yeah,
on upper places. You know, there's some people that actually have hair right from birth. They
yes,
are really very hairy, but then you
yes,
notice abnormalities. There are some people that as little as already having acne, right? But
yes,
then, like you
yes,
mentioned before, your face was very smooth, so you didn't have those before, and then you just woke up one
yes,
day and you had it. So abnormalities, things that are
yes.
not regular and are not normal, those are the things that you look out for, and then you begin to notice changes in your body.
Yes.
So that is essential. So thank you so much, Ma, because this live, I pity anybody that was not on this live, even with our many disconnection. You know, it was loaded, right? It was a lot that you have shared. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for sharing your journey. Um, I mean, along the way, you've given a lot of tips, you've given a lot of advice, you've given a lot of you know, whatnot. You've told us a lot of things. But just as we end, is there any other thing you'd like to add? Is there any advice you would like to give? Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the
Okay.
live?
The only thing I want to say again is that if you see the symptoms, honestly, seek medical help. I'm still saying it, seek medical help and seek it as early as you can. Don't wait till you are trying to get a baby. Don't wait, because with little, I think, intervention, they might be, you can have all of that symptoms controlled, and it might not really get to a level. But if you are here today again and you have tried everything and it's not working, and they are saying your only option is IVF, I would advise you, go for it. If you can afford it, go for it and get it done. Every medical thing that is available for you, just do it. Don't do any bad thing to your body. Don't consume things that you are not supposed to consume. I don't know how to say it. Don't go and be taking about all those things that are not tested, they are not this. Don't destroy your body. Remember that as children of God, God has promised us that none shall be barren. And if you are here, you are just training and you will carry your children. But another thing I used to say, by the time I want to have those children, I want to have them healthy. I want to carry my children with a good life, healthy lifestyle. Don't destroy yourself on the way on to that journey. And during the journey, don't do any harm to your body. Don't go off shelf to go and be buying drugs and treating yourself. Seek medical help and do it as early as you can. Because apart from fertility, there are things, your cholesterol may really go high, things like that. And I saw somebody lastly asking and saying, where can we get? Funny enough, I would have dropped the person's this thing to say, you can follow, but it doesn't do that thing again, because after I had my baby, I wanted to join again just to have an accountability partner. Even though I have all the diets, I have everything, I just wanted to be accountable. I sent message, all these things. I think he's relocated to Canada. He's no longer doing that weight loss thing again. But if you go on Instagram, there are a lot of people still doing weight loss. And if you say your specific things, if they do it for diabetes and everything, you can get diet. I went on the YFA page. There are diets there. There are vegetables. There are fruits. There are fibers. Cut down on your carbohydrates. Do more of exercise. You will find out that a lot will be better, and your mood, everything will get better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it as a collective, as young people, not just for fertility, for a healthy and better lifestyle. You need to make this lifestyle change. It's important. And thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you everyone for joining. We will try our possible best to get all of the videos and join them together and post them. If you want to be a part of us, you can join Wi-Fi. Our Instagram handle is _Wi-Fi official or Wi-Fi _official. Please do well to join. You can become a volunteer. You can volunteer with us. We go out and give awareness to children in secondary schools, people who are experiencing changes in their body, because like we said, our body is constantly changing, right? And then we need to listen to our body. Please follow us for more tips, follow us for more information, and if you want to share your experience with us, please, you can go ahead and send us a message. We'll be sure to respond. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Mrs Adebimpe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank
Edet
you.
behind the
And
screen.
sorry
Thank
for
you.
sorry for the off and on. I think we would have been more here because I think
Yes,
when some people just logged out, they didn't
they
bother
did
to log in.
come
I
back.
saw a
I'm
few of
so
my
sorry.
friends that joined, they didn't join back.
Oh,
So yeah. So
yes.
yeah.
I'm so
So,
sorry. I should apologize for that.
yeah.
And from tomorrow, we're starting our fasting and prayer very seriously, very seriously, because they wanted to, they
Yeah.
wanted to disrupt. But thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking with us still, even with the up and on.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
everyone.
Thank you for having me. Thank
All
you everyone
right.
for listening. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.